All right, guys, so I just actually finished shooting this video. The thing sounded absolutely terrible, so we're doing this again. All right, if you've got a second, please take out the time to like the video, like the content. I'm truly passionate about building generational wealth, and I want to show you all my strategies that I'm going to be using to actually pull this off. Okay, so just please hit the like button to just spread the love and help out the channel. With that being said, let's get right into it. As I just told, like I was just saying, I am truly passionate about building generational wealth. I want to show you all what I'm seeing, and we just talked about how no one would have the money to actually invest into the markets, okay? And I've shown all of the data that kind of shows us why no one will be able to invest, and how that ironically times with when the best buy opportunities are. And we've kind of talked about that, right? So that's this cool idea. This is something I was always interested in with the dot-com booms, with the real estate bubble, stuff like that. Really big transformational wealth generation building opportunities, okay? So we're seeing the same thing. Now I want to talk to you all a bit about more of the mindset, because just like in August, I put in 70K into cryptocurrency. You're going to see me actually putting a lot of money into cryptocurrency. Okay, so I want to talk to you about the mindset so that you can understand why I'm doing it, why I have conviction. And I also want to give an example of what I would do if I had no money. Okay, I want to use an extreme example. Me, I'm in a really good spot. Due to a lot of sacrifice. Okay, but you've got a spectrum. You've got people doing way better than me, way better. You've got people doing equal. You got people doing in between. You've got people doing way worse, right? And life has this spectrum. So I want you to understand, I want to use extremes to actually show that everyone has an opportunity, because the barrier entry into stocks, into crypto, and all of these things are very low now, right? If you're in America, I mean, you have no barriers almost. You can get in this stuff very easily. So I want to show how you can build generational wealth regardless, okay? But it's going to take some hard work. So let's get right into it. Okay, so let's really talk about this mindset thing. If you take a look here, you all know that I'm a big proponent. I'm big on Warren Buffett. Okay, I'm a big fan of Warren Buffett, I guess, as an investor, right? So we all know one of the richest investors that has ever walked Earth, right? $120 billion guy, right? But the thing that I want to actually point out is I want to point out what he invested in. One of his biggest investments was American Express, Chevron. We've got Apple, which is like one of the only ones that actually sound like super techy at all. You've got Coca-Cola, right? You got things like Disney. You got things like Bank of America, right? So the first thing that comes to mind, and as I studied these guys, and this is me looking, and I used to look at his charts and see when he invested, and the first thing that came to mind was, dude, these are all obvious. Okay, I would have invested in all of these. I would have invested in American Express, Chevron, Coca-Cola, Bank of America, all of those. As Apple especially, I definitely would have invested in Apple because it's super obvious, right? That's what it feels like. So then I asked myself, who do I know that did these things that are so obvious? Who do I know that was in Coca-Cola 10 years ago? Bank of America 10 years ago. Chevron 10 years ago. Apple 10 years ago, right? Or just, you get the point, right? And actually almost no one. When I actually think about this, almost no one was. And if I say it's obvious, maybe it wasn't so obvious, right? To be fair, it wasn't obvious. Now, this is very important, because you have to understand the psychology, and you have to understand how this stuff plays out. Just like we talked about how the finances play out, the psychology plays out the same way. And this is very important, because I need you to understand why I'm going to have so much conviction. And I'm also going to show you how you can actually leverage the mindset and the psychology to actually build wealth regardless of your income level. So we're going to get into that, but just understand that these all feel obvious, okay? If I look at someone that we all know of, Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor, we all know about him. He's the big Bitcoin diamond hander guy, right? Took all of his big business assets and threw them into, did the craziest CFO move I could have ever imagined, and threw it all into Bitcoin. Unprecedented, unheard of type of behavior and move. You take this guy though, let's look at the rest of his portfolio, a lot of the other investments that made him wealthy, okay? Ignoring Bitcoin. He was an early investor in Apple, Facebook, Amazon, Google, eBay, PayPal, right? So when I look at Michael Saylor's list, the first thing that comes to my mind is all of those are obvious. I would have invested in Apple. I would have invested in Facebook, Amazon, Google, eBay. I would have invested in PayPal. That's what comes to my mind. But who do you know that invested 10 years ago in those? Maybe you know someone, but On average, almost no one. Let me know in the comments, right? And the interesting thing about this is I'm pretty sure that everyone would say that they're obvious. Everyone feels deep in their heart that they're obvious. And that's very important. That's very important to understand, because that is actually what's happening right now, and it will continue to happen forever, I believe. The same psychological concept, right? So what we want to understand too is we look at Warren Buffett. Let's look at his net worth. His net worth went straight up exponentially, right? Flat at the beginning. The key is that it was flat at the beginning and went straight up. Now, the key, it's very important to understand that it didn't actually go straight up. Okay. Two things. One, we need to understand compounding interest. And then two, we need to understand that things fluctuate, markets fluctuate, right? So if you actually look, here's an article saying Warren Buffett lost 44 billion. He didn't actually lose 44 billion. They say it's not really that bad. Of course it's not that bad, right? Because things go up and down and they trend up. So it's not really that bad, right? You all can see that I had a $500,000 crypto portfolio. It's now 200,000. So now it's like, oh my God, you lost all that money. No, that's not what happened. Okay. I had a $500,000 crypto portfolio because I invested 180,000, which turned to 500, and then it went down to 200, right? So when you look at it, my $500,000 crypto portfolio, I sounded like a genius. Then it went down to 200. Now I sound like I'm an idiot. And then it's going to go up to 1 million, and then going to sound like a genius, and then it's going to go down. So that's what's going to happen. All right. This happens in every market, but really the investors understand that this is just part of the game. Some of you are down in your cryptocurrency, down on some of your investments, and it's just part of the game. Now you have to make sure that you're investing in assets of quality so that you can actually make sure that you get a recovery. So that's what you have to understand. So that's why Warren Buffett spent so much time researching his companies, understanding the value proposition and repositioning to make sure that he had conviction. All right. So that's what all that means. Now that's going to be the fluctuation piece. When it comes to compounding interest, understand the power of compounding interest. Me personally, I come from a family where money wasn't a function of hard work. You do a very large amount of hard work and you get money, right? And this is actually true, and this is actually one of the biggest portions of my income. But the most powerful portion of my income is when I realized, finally, once I started to invest, that money falls out of the sky. Okay, when you invest early with conviction and you actually have solid assets, the money compounds, and it is unfathomable what can happen. Okay, it is not to be taken for granted. And in things like Coca-Cola, Chevron, that sounds boring today, be life-changing opportunities. Okay, so then we fast forward. What is the actual opportunity? What is the Bank of America of today? When I think about 20 years from now, okay, someone's saying, what is, I think about a young guy jealous of all of us, right? He's like, oh my God, just like I was jealous of Warren Buffett. I'm like, oh my God, you made all that money off a boring Bank of America. I think Coinbase is going to be that boring thing. 20, 30 years from now, someone's going to say, Coinbase, man, I definitely would have invested all of my money in Coinbase. It's just that obvious. That's what I think. I've invested a lot of money in Coinbase. Part of my 70K that I invested in August into cryptocurrency, actually, I think like 20K was in Coinbase. Now, I take that back. 70K was all in cryptocurrency. I invested 20K on top of that into Coinbase. I'm not sure if I put that on the video or not. I can't remember. So either way, I did put 20K in Coinbase in the month of August. And I believe this is easily gonna be like one of the most obvious plays when you look back. Who cares when? And that's the thing. You don't care. You invest on value, the value that Coinbase brings, right? Just like Warren Buffett did when he actually invested in Coca-Cola and all of these other great assets that no one actually believed in at the time. The obvious one is going to be Coinbase. The next one is Bitcoin. When you actually think about what's obvious in the future, that's going to have a huge return on investment, going to last forever or a very long time. It's going to be Bitcoin, right? And it's going to be, I believe there are going to be people 30 years from now saying, dude, there's nothing genius about you. You only have so much money because the investments that were in front of you are so obvious. And I'm going to be kind of like, you know, they weren't really that obvious, right? We weren't 100% sure, right? So you just end up, you know, you just end up having a great return on investment due to actually being early and having conviction, just like these other investors. Okay, so Bitcoin is going to be the next obvious one. Now, as we work our way down the list, we're going to have the discussion on which altcoins do we want to actually have position in. We're going to have a video on that, okay? But I will say, altcoins, we're not thinking the same. We're not thinking about which altcoins are going to last forever. It's not the time yet for altcoins to think that way. I think it's more which altcoins will actually perform in the next bull run is the correct question. Okay, we're going to look at the ecosystem. We're going to look at how they've been building. We're going to look at their metrics. We're going to look at their community. We're going to look at their leadership. We're going to actually make decisions on where can we place our money to have high chances of a success in the next bull run. And then we'll actually triage that idea and then move our money around as the cycles play out. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a video on that. And I'm going to talk to you about that and talk to you about how I'm handling that situation. Okay, so now I want to show you all my allocations, and it's important to understand how I have my money allocated so that you can understand the mental aspect of how I psychologically put all this together. What's going on in my head when I'm doing this stuff, okay? Because people literally ask me, how are you having so much conviction when your portfolio's down, right? All right, so I have a very strategic approach to investing. 50% of all of my assets are in real estate, okay? 50% of my assets are in real estate. I know in the back of my head, if I lost everything, completely everything, I had no income, I had no ability to work, I can live in one of my houses and I can let the other houses pay me rent, and I can live in this nice suburb and I can live the same life. So that's what I know at the end of the day. That's going to grow in asset appreciation, and it's just going to grow over time. I can raise the rents over time, and it'll get better and better over time if I achieve nothing else. The reason for building my portfolio this way is so I can put no pressure on my growth assets. I wanted to make sure that the other half of my portfolio, I can focus on growth and I can take risk without actually putting my family at detriment. Okay, that's the reason for doing this. I want my family to continuously have a great life and a better life continuously. And I want to actually have an opportunity to invest in huge amounts of growth with no risk. Well, with risk, but risk that I can stomach because it doesn't really affect me. Okay. So I've got 25% of my assets in stocks. Okay, so that's stocks. Now the interesting thing about this is most of these are low risk. Okay, well, low risk to me. All right. So I think one of my biggest holdings is Meta. To me, Meta is just low risk. Now, I guess I'm a new generation. Someone would disagree who's probably from an older generation. But to me, Meta is like my Bank of America or my huge brick and mortar thing that just is a safe go. So if Meta dips, which it just did months ago, I put a lot of money in. Always putting money in Meta. It's just one I believe in. So that's just a peek into my portfolio. It's not really that risky. Okay, I added some Coinbase and things like that. So that's 25%. I don't need this to go anywhere, but it's probably not going to just disappear. Okay, this is a pretty safe portfolio. Now I've got 20% of my money in 20 to 22% in cash. Okay, now that's sitting in cash. And the reason why is because I was waiting for an asset class to get depreciated enough for me to have a huge upside, a huge opportunity. Okay, so I've got 20% in cash. The opportunity is in crypto right now. Now, the opportunity was in real estate. That's why I've seen a lot of my real estate see double growth, right? 100% growth in like 2 years. But that's not the opportunity. So you stop investing in real estate. Right now, the window is crypto. And that window is only for like 6 months. We have 6 months of opportunity from now to mid next year in this area here. And then the opportunity is gone, right? So I'm going to invest most of my money in crypto. And then I'm going to be looking for the next depreciated asset class to dump money into going forward, right? So that's what this is. So right here, I've got like roughly 3 to 5% of my money in crypto, right? So that's crypto, right? So if this thing, I wake up and it's poof, gone, no crypto, I don't care. You understand why I don't care. This is why I allocate my money this way. Now you can understand when I say I don't really care, whatever, right? But this is all of this 20% though is gonna go into crypto. Almost all of this 20% is gonna go into crypto. And then I'm gonna be building more money so that when the real estate opportunity comes, I'm in real estate. And then when the stock opportunity comes, I'm in stocks. And then I'm pulling profit and moving money around. And it's going to be a wild thing. Okay. Maybe I turn the channel into, I start to show you all like all of my asset classes. I can show you all some of my real estate, show you all these different things if you're interested. And you know, I don't want it to be too confusing. So let me know what you think there. So now this is how I'm moving. You understand my mindset. Now I want to tell you what I would do if I had no money. Like if I was in a situation where, okay, we've got this opportunity, I don't have any money. Okay. This is going to be where I say a madman. Okay. I'm going to assume you have no money, no job. You're in the basement with your parents, or you're living with your sister, or you're just totally down and out, no job. Okay. The key is what I would do, and I've done it before, is I would sleep in my car. Okay. I can't hit everyone's situation. Okay. I'm just doing an extreme example. Okay. You have to extrapolate out what you can do. Okay. Worst case I could think of, no job at all, no income at all, no skills at all, no anything. Okay. Minimum wage jobs in America, you can get $12 an hour. That can be Burger King in the day, McDonald's at night. Okay. So that's going to be $48,000 a year. And I'm just showing you how much opportunity we have in America. We have so much opportunity that you can create 6 figures of investments easily. But well, I won't say easily. It's going to take a sacrifice, but almost guaranteed though. Not easy, but guaranteed. I don't want it easy. I just want to be sure that I'm going to get my outcome. Okay. So you got 48K. It's going to be, okay, I get $12 an hour for my job. That's $24,000 a year. I get $12,000 an hour. I get $12 an hour from the other job. That's $24,000 a year. Add them together, I get $48,000. Tax it. They're going to take out, let's say 12K. Let's put it at, let's say you get 38K. Let's say you have 38K after taxes. You sleep in your car. You eat canned goods. You don't get an apartment, so you take showers in a gym. Gym memberships is $10 a month. You know, you eat the canned goods. Like I said, you work out, rinse and repeat. If you're in college, park the car by your college, go into the college, do your work, come back, sleep in the car. I'm saying this because I actually did this before. I actually did this exact thing before. Minus the fast food, because I actually was in school and actually was writing software to make money, and I would keep all of the money and I was writing software. But besides that, I was doing the same thing. I was sleeping in the car, eating food, out of a can, gym memberships to take showers, working out in the gym. I was doing the same thing, right? So you can live off of 8K with that. You've got 30K. All right. So you've got 30K. Now you're going to start investing. All right. I would be very aggressive. You can't get into real estate at this point with these kind of incomes easily. This isn't the time to get in real estate, even if you could. So the key is going to be I would take half of the money and be very risky. And the reason why is I would be risky in a smart way. I would be risky in a way to where I'd put a lot of money in Bitcoin, a lot of money in Ethereum, and mess around with some of the smaller altcoins, right? So I would take 15K and I would put it in crypto. This is going to be 15K here. And then I put 15K in stocks. I would probably put this in very safe stuff like the NASDAQ. Okay. I believe if you can actually get those 2 jobs and start doing that over the next 6 months, I believe you can easily 4X in the next bull run. That's very safe. You can 4X the 15K and have 30, 60. So you can have 60K in one side of that, on one side of this chart, right? This 15K turns to 60K. All right. And I'm talking in the next 3 years tops, right? The rough 3 years, right? Maybe even 2 years. And imagine this being the 15K being 30K, right? In the NASDAQ, or 15K being 20K. So we're talking somewhere between like 60, 80 to 90K. And this isn't even if you get 10X's, which everything's down 10X. Right. So almost everything's down 10X. That's an altcoin. So when you actually think about this, right, you have the opportunity there to generate, imagine in 2 years, have almost generated, almost 100K in assets, right? I mean, just really think about the opportunities we have here in America. So that's the kind of idea I'd be thinking. Okay. I'd be very, very aggressive. Now, most of you have better situations than that. Okay. Most of you have situations where you have income, but you might not actually have the ability to invest because you're over your head in credit bills and stuff like that. It's very important that you think of a way to be a madman. Okay. A madman is someone who's extremely tired of being financially crippled and they will do anything to free up some money to actually take advantage of these opportunities. Okay, because I want you to understand that we're about to see a lot of billionaires get created in crypto. We're going to see a lot of millionaires. The reason that I actually went into technology is because when I was actually studying and choosing what career I would go into, like 10 billionaires were all in technology, right? You've got Mark Zuckerberg, who knew how to write software, and you had, Elon Musk, who was like in engineering, and you had all these guys were just all in the same field. So I was like, okay, that's where the money is. That's what I enjoy too. That's where I can bring value, and that's where I want to invest. And then that's how I do it. Cryptocurrency, same thing. This is where the opportunity is. This is where the billionaires are going to be. This is where a lot of the money is going to be. Interestingly enough, billionaire Michael Saylor, this is where he is. All right, the same person that invested in all this stuff that I'm jealous of is also invested crazily, insanely, heavily in Bitcoin. All right, so with that being said, let's leave it there. All right, we're gonna have to go to it. We're overdue for a deeper dive in which altcoins do we think will actually come back, and we'll go into, why do we think they'll come back? We'll go into the analysis of the on-chain metrics. We'll talk about the community. We'll talk about the value propositions, the technologies, so that we can understand which cryptocurrency we want to be in, altcoins we want to be in, to ensure that our money comes back in the next cycle. Okay, so that was a whole dump. My second time shooting a video. Thank you for being here, everyone. As you can see, I'm super passionate, super excited about all of this stuff, and we're gonna keep the videos coming. Let me know what you would like to see from me in the comments. Would you like to see more about my real estate portfolios, more about my stock portfolios, and hear about this stuff in a holistic way? And if so, I try to include that information to actually bring more value to you all. So with that being said, see you in the next video. Peace.